Buckle up because this is going to be one very exciting video, and that's because I have here some cases for the brand new iPhone 11, the iPhone 11R, and also the iPhone 11 Max, all of which will be launching this September. So I'm going to take a first look at these, get a better idea of the dimensions of the 2019 iPhones, and give you guys some updates on all the latest leaks and rumors regarding the 2019 iPhones. Also, big announcement, we've now launched, can you guess what? A store. Yes, the zoneoftech.com store is now live on zoneoftech.com/store. Okay, so you finally have some Zone of Tech merch, right? Well, not really, at least not yet. But this is something that I think is even better than merch. You see, instead of selling t-shirts with our own logo on them, on the Zone of Tech store, we have actual devices. Yes, smartphones such as the Pixel 3a, the Pixel 3a XL, laptops such as the Microsoft Surface Pro 6, and the latest MacBooks, audio equipment, camera gear, and more. So these are actual products that we bought and used for our reviews that you guys have watched, or even stuff that was sent to us and we no longer need. Most of these are actually brand new and have only been used for a day or even a few hours in some cases. We offer a full description of how these items were used and how many videos they appeared, and also full photos with any defects that they might have, if any. Now, they're not the lowest prices, but considering the condition that they're in, they are cheaper than buying them brand new, and they're pretty much brand new, just the box open and maybe used for a few hours. So condition-wise, they're better, most of them at least, than what you can find on eBay. And we ship these to just the UK, by the way, for now, just the UK, because of custom taxes and rate conversions. Yeah, we need to figure out a way to do all this internationally, if the demand at least is high enough. We accept all major credit and debit cards, including, yes, Apple Pay. Yes, we accept Apple Pay, so if you want to try Apple Pay, feel free to do so on our store, zoneoftech.com/store. Also, free shipping. Yeah, free shipping for anything you buy. Okay, so Sonny Dickson, who's been one of the original leakers back in the iPhone 6 days and even before then, has sent over not one, not two, but 3 actual cases for the upcoming 2019 iPhones. So huge thanks to Sonny for sending these over. Do check his website out, sonnydickson.com, for some great tech content, most of which you don't really get to see on regular tech websites since they're actually based on inside sources and leaks, and I'd recommend checking Sonny Dickson's work out. Now, taking a look at the actual cases themselves, these have actually been made based on the actual schematics and dimensions that we've seen leaked on the 2019 iPhones. So let's start with the iPhone 11 Max case. And this one seems to fit perfectly on my iPhone XS Max, even though the 11 Max is said to be thicker, 8.1mm versus 7.7 that the current iPhone XS Max has. Now, this case is indeed a bit too thick and tight on my iPhone XS Max, which basically points towards the iPhone XS Max getting a bit thicker indeed. Now, the biggest design change with the 2019 iPhones would be in terms of the camera module on the back. So we're getting a triple lens camera module from the dual one on both the iPhone 11 and the iPhone 11 Max. And the case does seem to illustrate this as well, so we have a massive cutout on the back for that triple lens camera module, but it's actually not as big as I expected it to be. On the renders and the leaks, this appeared to be massive, and even though this has the exact same dimensions as in the leaks, in person the module appears to be much smaller and actually better, I would say. So I do like this design. Or let me rephrase that, I don't dislike it as much as I thought I would. Now, there are some other changes. So for example, the mute switch as seen in the OnLeaks leak will be redesigned. So instead of being an up and down switch, it would now be a switch that goes further and backwards into the phone. So pretty much the same as it used to work like on the old iPads, if you guys remember those. And the case itself does seem to illustrate this redesigned mute switch as well. So the cutout is significantly larger than on the current iPhone XS Max cases, and the mute switch itself seems to have been moved further down quite a bit. And because of this, the volume buttons have also been moved down a bit, and it seems to me that they're also bigger than the current iPhone XS Max ones. But that seems to be it. I don't see any other changes, any other cutouts at all on this case. Okay, so now moving on to the smaller iPhone 11 case, so the 5.8-inch model. This one is pretty much the exact same story, just, you know, just smaller. Now, there are 2 things that I want to point out here. So the first one is that a case doesn't feel as tight as on the iPhone as the one on the iPhone 11 Max. Probably because the 11 is said to be thicker by just 0.1mm compared to the 10s versus 0.4mm that the 11 Max would be when compared to the iPhone XS Max. So that seems to be reflected by this case as well. And then 2, the camera module feels quite a bit bigger on the 11 than on the 11 Max, even though they have the exact same size. But since the 11 is a smaller phone, the module ends up taking more space on the whole body. So yeah, it does look quite massive on the iPhone 11. And then we also have the iPhone 11R case which, oh boy, this is by far the thickest one of the bunch. The iPhone XR was 8.3mm thick, and the 11R is said to be the same, so still 8.3, but this case, wow, it feels and looks so thick when compared to the other ones. And the iPhone 11R will have the exact same changes as the iPhone 11 and the iPhone 11 Max with that redesigned mute switch and that camera module. And speaking of the camera module, even though it would look the same as on the iPhone 11 and the iPhone 11 Max, on the iPhone 11R, it would only be a dual camera module rather than a triple one. Now, design-wise, I do think that this looks horrible, but I do see where Apple is coming from with this. I mean, they want to keep the same design, the same consistent design across all three models of the iPhone in 2019. And an advantage of having this design is that instead of having a completely black camera module like we've had up until now, the inside of the square, the camera module itself, would actually match the color of your iPhone. So this does work quite well on the iPhone 11Rs, especially since you get more color on the back, so to say. Okay, so these were the cases. Now I want to talk about some new iPhone 2019 leaks. First of all, 3D Touch is looking that it's actually going to be removed entirely in the 2019 iPhones. So this is something that Wall Street Journal reported back in January 2019, and a team of Barclays analysts had said the same thing last week, and now that we have iOS 13 beta released, I can confirm that 3D Touch has indeed been pretty much killed off entirely in iOS 13. So in case you don't know, 3D Touch is a pressure-sensitive layer in the display panel itself that allows the iPhone to measure the amount of pressure that you apply to the screen. So if you applied more pressure, you would get sort of like a right click with more options for certain apps. Now on the iPhone XR from last year, 2018, since Apple wanted to decrease the cost, they removed that pressure sensitive layer and instead redesigned the whole 3D Touch functionality to work by just holding longer on the icon, followed by a vibration from the haptic engine. And they called this haptic touch rather than 3D Touch. And honestly, I didn't like it at all. It was really bad. You had to hold the icon for quite long, so everything was substantially slower without that pressure detection. Now, luckily, I didn't really use 3D Touch that much in the first place, so it wasn't really that much of a loss for me anyways. Well, now, even if you have a 3D Touch capable iPhone, 3D Touch seems to work in the exact same way in iOS 13 as haptic touch does on the iPhone XR. And yes, it's pretty bad. So you cannot even press and swipe up and down through the options in the apps like you could before. So yeah, if you use 3D Touch on a regular basis, what can I say other than don't update to iOS 13? But haptic touch does work on all the iPads and all the iOS 13 supported devices now. So it's called Peak now, and yeah, that's the advantage, that you can use it with any iOS 13 supported device. And I got some good news regarding the camera on the 2019 iPhones. So we weren't really 100% sure what a third module would be used for, and that's because some sources were saying that it would be a wide-angle module, while some other sources said that it was going to be only used for enhanced AR tracking and improving depth mapping for portrait mode and so on. Now, personally, I was expecting a wide-angle module to compete with Android smartphones that are pretty much all starting to have a wide-angle module, even at extremely low price points. And now this has actually been confirmed by Bloomberg's Mark Gurman and Debbie Wu. And aside from the wide-angle module, this report also states that we would be getting an improved zoom module as well. So it's quite likely going to be something like a 2.5x or 3 times optical zoom like we have on phones such as the OnePlus 7 Pro, from the 2 times optical zoom like we have now on the iPhones. And Bloomberg also confirmed again that yes, the new iPhones will indeed be getting support for reverse wireless charging that will allow you to charge your AirPods with a wireless charging case wirelessly by just placing them on the back of your iPhone. So this is actually something very similar to what you can already do with the Samsung Galaxy S10 and the Galaxy Buds or even the AirPods, the Huawei Mate 20 Pro or the P30 Pro. And Bloomberg also reports on a feature that we've actually seen mentioned a few times before, and it's a pretty cool one. So it's called autocorrection for photos. And it's a feature that allows you to fit people back into a photo from which they might have been cut out of. I'm guessing that this would only apply to when you use the regular module, and it would take the data from the wide-angle module and then add it to the photo taken by the normal module. So this means that both modules would be active every time you take a photo. And now here's something really cool. Not really related to the 2019 iPhones, but it could be coming to the 2020 ones. Barclays reports that Apple could be adding full screen Touch ID to the 2020 iPhones. There's actually a patent that Apple has applied for in 2017 where they use an OLED iPhone and an acoustic imaging sensor underneath the whole display, and with this they can actually capture a fingerprint anywhere you place your finger on the display. So yeah, at the moment on smartphones that have an in-display fingerprint reader like the OnePlus 7 Pro or the S10, you have to place your finger on a very specific spot in the display. With this, you can basically place it anywhere and it would unlock. How cool is that? I don't think that Apple would be dropping Face ID anytime soon, or maybe even ever, especially since they've invested so much in it. Not even to mention, you know, all the animojis, which wouldn't be possible, at least not to this accuracy, without Face ID. So I do think that Apple would combine Face ID and Touch ID, that full screen Touch ID, in a future version of the iPhone, possibly, hopefully, the 2021. Okay, so in the end, it seems like the 2019 iPhones would be not that big of a change. So only a big change in terms of the camera. That's pretty much it. Obviously, reverse wireless charging, that's pretty cool as well, but mostly the camera. And then in 2020, next year, that would be the year where we'll see the bigger change when it comes to the features and possibly even a brand new design. So the 2019 iPhones, yes, they will retain the exact same design on the front, with the same bezels, the same notch as in the 2018 and 2017 iPhones. But yeah, let me know in the comments your thoughts on all of this, the cases in the 2019 iPhones. Do you think it's gonna be a boring one? I think so. Like, if you compare this thing to the improvement that we got from the OnePlus, for example, 60 to the 7 Pro with a 90 Hz refresh rate display, no bezels at all, that pop-up camera, and even the Samsung Galaxy S10 from the S9, that was a huge improvement as well. The iPhone 11, you know, not so much from the XS, which was already almost the same thing as the iPhone 10. So, yeah. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. Don't forget to check out our store, zoneoftech.com/store, and let us know in the comments what do you think of it and any suggestions you might have on how we could improve it and what items do you want to see there. You know, items that you've seen in the videos. If you want to buy any of those, yeah, just comment down below. But yeah, thank you for watching. This was pretty much it for this one. I'm Daniel, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Zone of Tech, signing out. Cheers.